So this is just going to be a short discussion. I don't think it'll even be a full review. But I have enjoyed the series You on Netflix. Love the first season. Now, we're 4 seasons in. And a lot of people have been asking me, they've been saying, you've been enjoying the series so much. We haven't heard you talk about the latest series, which is season 4. And I got a chance to watch it because, I'll say this, I did not watch the 5th episode. It's split up in 2 parts.
Right.
They're doing the whole Stranger Things now with everything. And so he split it up in 2 parts. Fortunately, that makes it easier to watch. They have 5 episodes. I'm 4 episodes in. But I do have something to say about this, because people are wondering, do I like it as much as the other seasons?
You're a murderer, Joe.
You're wrong about me. I'm gonna prove it to you.
You already did it. You're a murderer. You can't take it back.
But I haven't murdered any more people.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not a murderer recently. What the hell are you talking about?
I don't want to know.
Oi! Where did you go?
Why does the universe keep doing this to me?
Joe,
Police are...
God damn it, man.
Always blaming someone else.
Always.
Look, Joe gon' Joe.
I know at this point, I was like, why am I still rooting or wondering why he's doing what he's doing?
This man been running from himself for 5 years now.
Because it was in that 3rd season where it was just like, you're out. You're out.
Yeah.
Couldn't stay out.
No, man. I mean, you ain't gonna escape yourself, and that's what he's been doing for the last 4 seasons. He's been running from himself, right? But you are always gonna be where you are.
But he is in hot pursuit.
But that's the problem with this character is that he always tries to justify him, his actions. He always lies to himself, and the problem with lying, his problem is that he's one of the rare people who believes himself. A lot of people say you can't lie to yourself. Joe can.
Well, it feels like Joe is an analog for everybody who's trying to give up some vice.
Yeah.
And can't do it. Like he's like, I'm not gonna eat sugar, refined sugar anymore. And yet you're hitting those cookies and you're like, I sympathize, Joe. I know how hard it is. Yeah. But he's murdering people though and stalking.
Yeah.
Well, same thing.
He just can't. Yeah. He tries to justify everything that he does. He tries to make all of his actions sound reasonable to himself. And that's been the beauty of the show, is that, since we follow him through the show, we fall for his bullshit that he's telling himself. Because we lie to ourselves like that. Because we're always with ourselves. But since he's the main focus, that has been the great thing about testing the audience with this show, is because you root for him. Because he's the only person that you really connect with, because you see things through him. You're listening to his narration. So by the end of everything, you're like, yeah, Joe, get out of there. Wait, what the fuck? No, you're a killer.
I know.
This man should be caught. And you're disgusted with yourself. And then at some point you do realize that, yeah, this person, no matter how much, man, he got me. Jesus, that's why this guy he gets away with so much. He got me too. And this guy is a horrible person.
Yeah.
No matter how much he sits back and lies to himself and tries to reason with himself and convince himself that he's good and everything that he's doing is for a reason.
Joe is a horrible human being, but he's never an asshole. He's never snarling, and he's not ugly. So that's what makes it hard for people to see him for who he is.
He's the reason why a lot of serial killers have gotten away with killing. He's handsome and white.
Yes, that too.
And he's very charismatic. I hope this guy ends up being Mr. Fantastic, Penn Badgley. He's a very good actor. Now that he got that Mr. Fantastic beard, I'm like, all right, I can see him doing that.
I couldn't get away.
So what's going on in this season? Do you know? Could you pick up from this?
I mean, I know at the end of the last season, he picked up and moved to Europe.
Yeah. So he's in London now. And over in London, he's somehow managed to con his way into being another completely different person.
A professorship?
Yeah, he's a professor now. and at a nice school, very nice school he's going to. And only thing is he's befriended another professor there, or another instructor who is a rich brat, just a very extremely privileged person. And through him, he starts to connect with all these other rich people in his circle. And these people are the horrible people, completely horrible people. They're the kind of rich people that, you know, they look down on the people that work for them, to the point where they use them as props. They humiliate them, you know, when they're out there playing they're doing putt-putt. They have the people get down on all fours and use them as one of the
Obstacles?
as one of the obstacles out there.
windmills.
Yeah, yeah, and these, yeah, and and you always have a you in this series. You know, the you is usually somebody that he falls in love with. He's always stalking them, looking at them. You did this to me. You made me attracted to you. You wanted me to see you.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, and the person doesn't even know his ass exists until he starts, you know, pushing up on him. The you in this particular show is someone who's stalking him and knows that he's been killing these people for the last 3 episodes or 3 seasons, and onto what he's onto his history and what he's probably up to with these people, which is nothing. He's trying to be actually a decent guy, but this other person is saying, "Oh, I know you looking at somebody to kill. I know you, Joe, and I got your number." And so he's like, I gotta find you. You are the one that's making me do what I do again. You're trying to provoke me. But turns out that not only is he being stalked, but there's a killer, another killer amongst these people. And he's trying to figure out, because this killer, whoever it is trying to frame him for murder. Mm-hmm. And so with him trying to actually be cleared of murder and trying to keep himself from being a suspect, he's also trying to keep somebody else from being killed.
God damn it! So you have to root for him.
So and that's why this needs to stop. That's why this show, y'all need to quit now. You just stop, because you're missing the point. The point with Joe was to question your own morality while you watch this person who rationalized all their evil actions, all their disturbing actions. You rooted for him against your own knowledge, against your own, you know,
Moral
against your own
code.
against your own better judgment. You know, you knew that this guy was like, you saw him, you had knowledge of everything he's done. You know what your morals are like. But against your own judgment, you continuously root for Joe, because Joe is the person that you spend the most time with. You become Joe in a way. So you start rooting for Joe to get away because you feel like you're in danger. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of it all, that's where you have to finally, you know, you'll be going to the bathroom, sitting up there taking a shit. You're like, man, I'm an asshole. You know, why am I rooting for this guy? Because they intentionally test you with Joe. Now, Joe has had a great story arc. I love the first season of
yeah.
You
Brilliant.
Yes, You was that first season where it was a slasher movie. It was a horror show. But it was so romantic, and you were on the side and in the head of the killer that you never noticed that. Mm-hmm. And it was brilliant because of that.
Every account set to public. You want to be seen.
You know, it did such a great job at getting you to relate to the murderer, the bad guy, that you became the bad guy. Or you fell in love with the bad guy and wanted to see him actually get away with whatever it is that he was doing, no matter how disgusting and wrong it was, until you finally cut the show off and realize how much of a dick you are for that. Now, from that point on, I was wondering, what are they going to do with this? And I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say that as far as season 2 goes, he gets deeper into situations where he's a terrible guy, but he's surrounded by worse people.
Sure, he went from just some New York hipsters, little bratty, to L.A. douchebags.
Yeah, until he starts to find
Hollywood douchebags.
Yeah, and then he finds people who were probably something like him.
Right. And
you just, and again, I got to be careful how I say this. I would just say that everything he thought he wanted,
Yeah,
he got it. He got it, and he got it in ways that in the worst possible ways, and he's in so deep that he can't get out of it. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was able to bury bodies, knew how to dispose of evidence, Not when he gets into this situation. It's a lot deeper than that. And it's just been this great thing to see how he's had to like deal with people that are a reflection of him, and how that has forced him to, you don't want to root for him, but now that he sees what he is, he does turn into a better person. It's like, all right, Joe, just get the fuck out, man. You know, you don't want
Turns to a better person for a while.
for a while. But that is the problem with this season, and that is now he's surrounded by these rich assholes who, by the way, all of them are cartoons, man.
That's kind of what I figured watching this from the trailer, because I was like, all right, he went from the New York hipsters to the Hollywood douchebags to the clueless people in suburbia, but now we're looking at rich assholes and British. You're not gonna feel bad for any of them.
Rich assholes, British influencers, bullshit artists.
Yeah.
Who, you know, all these people who just get by. We see this a lot today. They get by. They get their fame. They get by with their marketing because they always have money to fall back on. But these people are like caricatures of that. Like all of them are rude. All of them are stuck up. All of them are shallow. All of them are they treat people with no dignity that they figure are below them. It's all the same shit that you see, and all of them are like that. Some of them are just downright just rude.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're flat characters, but they were made to be flat. They were made to be that much of a caricature in a cartoon, because now those people have to appear worse than Joe.
And
Joe,
they're
what's
meat.
that?
They're meat.
Well,
and then for the lambs for the slaughter, I assume.
No, that's not
really?
what it is. No,
Oh, okay.
no, they're there to make Joe look like a good person. You're like, well, shit, Joe might kill people, but he's not those assholes. Meanwhile, those assholes never killed anybody. So, now that would be an interesting dynamic again to test your morality. But that's not what they're doing here. What they're trying to do is the main problem with this season of You is that the format has switched. Maybe we kept the format before, that'd be different. But now it's just a murder mystery.
Okay.
Joe is just trying to figure out who's killing people and trying to figure out who's trying to frame him. And it's just followed listen, we just got through watching Knives Out. You know, it's just a more underwritten version of that. You know, it's a whodunit now.
Yeah.
Where before, like I said, it was a horror movie and a serial killer movie under the guise of romance. You know, that's not what this is now. So now what we have here, they've missed the whole point of what happened with that first season and even those other 2 seasons to follow. What they're doing here, they're trying to pull a couple of things. They're pulling anything from a Dexter to Loki. You know, when Loki became a popular character,
Yeah.
they had to make Loki likable.
Right.
So they had to just kind of forget that Loki was killing people. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So they've changed Joe so much now and tried to make him, to keep this going, to keep this show going. We can't keep rooting for a killer. You know, how many times are we going to get? Because now we're getting used to this. Now people are just saying Joe's a murderer, right? Like, kill this dude or put him in jail or something. I'm tired of this shit. You know, we know this is not a good guy, but they're trying to make him so likable now by surrounding him with people who are way just shitty people, man, who do not know how to treat other people with respect. That goes a long way, you know, to making somebody else likable. So they're really pushing that angle so that we can, like, once again, root for Joe. And I think that's just a really shallow way to do that. And again, turning this into a murder mystery. So Joe does not have to. Now Joe's the good guy. He's the detective. He's the guy that we're rooting for because he's trying to solve another murder. At least he's trying to keep somebody else from being killed. Yeah, he's got a lot of bodies behind him, but this time he's trying to save lives. And it really does show how this show has gone on so long now that they can't keep up with what made this show effective before.
Sure.
And it's so blatant. It's so obvious how they've taken the edge off Joe so that we like him, so that our morals aren't challenged anymore, so that our conscience is clear while we watch him and we like him. You know, now we don't have to sit up here and question ourselves. We can just enjoy this show and keep Joe going because, hey, Joe ain't really killing people anymore. All right, you know, that guy messed with him, man. He pulled a gun on him and Joe did what he had to do. But for the most part, Joe ain't stalking like he used to.
Joe, you've changed.
Joe, what happened to you, man? What happened to your crazy? Man, you used to be crazy.
You used to be cool.
Yeah, that's what we liked. Yeah, that's the thing that really shows that, all right, now we reached a level where we're not trying to be what was effective before. we're trying to keep this show going. This is why shows need to stop sometimes.
I know.
And listen, I don't think it's very honest to end this with Joe having no punishment. And I'm not saying that because I don't think bad characters or villains should get away with things. I think that's often cool if they do, but now it doesn't feel sincere with Joe as a character, what he was and what he's become. So if you're going to go that route, I mean, if you're going to make him what he is right now and make him that likable, just either have him get away with it and go off into the sunset and a different person, or let's do what we should have done and maybe have him killed or put in jail or something. Now, I was very happy with him just getting away last season.
Right.
And
he had
that's
gone
it.
through a lot of bullshit, and
Yeah.
and you're somewhere else.
Yeah,
You
life
can't-
is like that.
Yeah.
It's like we don't always get punished, but something needs to happen here. But I think you're trying to make him so likable that for him to get away with it now, it seems like that was too much your intention because you didn't want to challenge us anymore. So I think he should, I think the dude should just fucking have an anvil fall on his head or something.
What an ending.
Who can lift an animal high enough to drop on his head?
I don't know, but they should do it. But the real point is that it's just some shows, I think in America in particular, we just keep shows going as long
Sure.
Yeah.
as long as we have the ratings.
They're hit.
Yeah, as long as they have the audience, as long as it's popular. I think sometimes it's great to have a certain number of seasons planned and end it in a way that feels real, end in a way that feels genuine.
I
This
think
show
that
doesn't feel
does
genuine anymore.
happen, but then some exec goes, "All right, so what we got planned next?"
Yeah.
And like, well, we killed off the character. Yeah, just bring him back. We're making money.
And see, that's the problem. It feels like executives making this decision now. It doesn't feel like them doing something that's pretty bold anymore. Because it was bold the first season when he got away with it. Because I'm gonna tell you, Joe did something heinous at the end of that episode. But it was very true to the character.
Yeah.
And when he got away with it, I was like, "Hey man, you know what? If you really think about it, that's what serial killers do in these movies, man."
True. And you think about that first season, the first murder he commits, you almost were on his side about it.
Yeah.
Because he was being frustrated, the person was being an asshole, and it looked like it just got away from him. He didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And then each time it just kept escalating.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I haven't seen the second part, which is not out yet. None of us have seen the second
Yeah,
part.
it won't be out till March, right?
Yeah. So maybe, who knows where this is going to end, Maybe Joe will be a different person. Either way it goes, whether Joe receives the punishment he deserves or whether he gets away with it, it just seems like if you go any further, you really are going to warp this character into something that's not recognizable from what it was before. You really are pushing it because this character is still drawing people in. We'll have Loki, so that's my whole thing with this, man. It doesn't feel the same. If I was to give it a rating, I would give it a rental. I mean, that doesn't say too much for it already being on streaming, but quality wise, it needs to. It's time to end.
Did they say they're renewing it for another season after this one?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Just
I'm just saying
curious.
they should.
Okay.
And they
Maybe he's like, all right, yeah, listen, can you make me heroic because I'm going to be a superhero soon? Because he would be great casting for Reed.
Sure.
Yeah,
He
he's
sure
talented,
would.
and he just has the fucking look. I was like, holy shit.
Penn Badgley, right?
Ben
Yeah.
Badgley.
Yeah.
Well, so many people were wanting William Jackson Harper for Reed Richards, but then he popped up in Ant-Man as the translator. So that's, the
mentalist guy.
Yeah, the mental- yeah.
The mind reader.
mind reader. Thank you.
Oh, they wanted him?
Yeah, a lot of people were pushing for him.
Oh, he would have been awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh well. Well, maybe it could be a different variation of that. Maybe from
There's a
another
lot of
dimension.
variant Reeds out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Detective Kane. So
No, he'd be a great Reed Richards, man.
he's such a dick. And he thinks he's like, I know, I got this all figured out. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they'll write something really cool for the second part, and if they do, just really write it good and go out, man. Go at it. But and keep in mind, again, it's not the fact that they changed, or not a fact, in my opinion, that they changed Joe. It's just this thing is just not very well written.
Okay.
These characters, all these characters are so flat that I mean, I don't care. I don't care anything about them. That's not saying anything about them because they're bad. I don't care anything about them because they are such cartoonish characters that that I don't care either way. I mean, they could have been the nicest people in the series, but if they're that flat, then I have no feeling for them at all. It's hit truly soap opera level now.
Yeah,
And it's always kind of indulged in that too.
It has, but it's done in a clever way.
Yeah. But, Netflix, their content, it skews towards teenagers. Even when they have something interesting, the longer it goes on, the more it skews towards teenagers.
You're right. Like, I mean, you think of like one of their biggest hit last year was Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was very much.
Yep.
Yeah, I never thought about that before. Huh.
Yeah, and this has that feeling, man. One of those shows, that's they write these characters broad for, for teenage appeal.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see that. Yeah, and they have characters that are likable but just unbelievable. They got a 19-year-old student here, and she, the way she talks, her level of mentality, the way she approaches class and writing and whatnot, it's like you are not 19 years old. First of all, you don't even look 19, so come on now. Oh well, CW. Yeah, I didn't want to use those two.
But
I don't want to drop those letters.
You were saying that's what it sounded like.
Didn't want to drop those letters, man. But we are hitting C to the W level right now.
And they're going away.
Are they?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so. They're canceling all their shows and everything, right?
Yeah.
So, like all the DC stuff is going, and I think they want to kind of like, $3,000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Netflix is doing all their same moves, so.
Well,